Hello and welcome to the virtual orientation for the 2026 Canadian event. This is Canada's oldest triathlon and it means the world to us that we can continue its legacy, and it's so fun to see all of you showing up year after year to do it. It's a tradition for many, but if you're a first timer, welcome. We'll go through all these details for the event in a very chronological order. There's quite a bit to get to, so we'll kind of just hop into it. If you have any questions, flip me an email. You can always pause this video and rewind and watch it a few times. We're pretty accessible for any questions you have. And on the next slide, we'll also talk about an in-person orientation that we do as well. Okay, so we'll talk about the details of the event in these 5 kind of categories: pre-race, and then swim, then bike, then run, then post-race. If you're not doing a swim, bike, run event, if you're doing a duathlon or a run or a swim cycle, you can always skip ahead or jump around to get the parts that you need. But let's get cracking. So I'll use my cursor for a little bit here, just to highlight a few things. So if you follow my cursor here, the Terry Fox facility on Riverside Drive is where the staging area is. So the transition zone is inside here, the finish line is in here, the start line for the running events and the duathlon is in here. It's kind of the heart of the event, so right over here. Now, my number one piece of advice is to pick up your bib the day before the race. Everyone's gonna wear this kind of Tyvek kind of plasticky bib during the race, and that's how we know who you are. You have to pick that up at some point. Either you can pick it up the day before the race or on race day itself, but doing it the day before gives you a chance to check one thing off your list for race day. It makes race day just go a lot smoother and a lot faster. It's also a chance for you to see the venue in person. You can actually walk around and see the transition zone. You can go see the swim course in person, so on and so forth. You can also talk to our race crew, ask any questions you have in person. I find it's a good way to bring down the temperature, and we're all usually a little bit nervous and a little bit excited the day before the race, so it's a good way to get prepared for the event and then just check one thing off your list for race day. So we'll be set up, I'll show you my cursor again, we're set up right over here the day before race day from 3 to 6 p.m. So come on down, you can park right over here at Terry Fox or park over here at Mooney's Bay and just walk on down, come ask your questions, do the walkthrough if you like. And then if you're coming at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, we do an in-person orientation. So we do 2 of them so that you can go to either one depending on your work schedule that day or just whatever you have going on. So from 4 to 5, and then from 5 to 6, we do an in-person orientation. It's about an hour long, and it's essentially a more drawn-out version of this virtual orientation where I'll walk you to the transition zone and we'll explain things. Then I'll walk you to the water and explain things. So if you're a visual learner like me, I find these in-person orientations very, very helpful. Reminder, if you're parking down here, it's usually free parking. Mooney's Bay is paid parking, and so are a lot of the other parking lots around. So wherever you park, just make sure you pay the meter if there is one. Bylaw is pretty good about patrolling these areas. So if you don't do the bib pickup the day before, or even if you do, let's talk about the morning of now. So we usually suggest getting on site an hour before your race. So if your race starts at 8, show up at 7. If your race starts at 10, get there at 9. So usually an hour before the race gives you a chance to do everything you need to do. And here's a list of everything you need to do. First is parking. If you're not taking public transit or if you're not biking over to the event, most people drive. Oh, pardon me. And we always suggest carpooling if you can. Makes things a lot simpler, makes the parking lots a little more free. The best place to park is just outside of this frame. Is literally just right here at Canada Post. So that's where the event parking is. There's plenty of parking there. It's a mix of free and non-free, but read the signs and obey the rules that are there. Now, I know what you're thinking. You can park down here and you can park at Mooney's Bay, but these 2 lots are usually full by 6 a.m. We have a race that starts at 7 with our half iron triathlon, and between all those athletes and the volunteers and the medical team and our safety team and all those people, they usually fill up these spots pretty darn early in the morning. So you're welcome to try it, but I'm telling you, every year I see a line lined up to get down to this parking lot only to find out that it's full and they're lined up to leave. And it's all held up by one traffic light here. So do yourself a favor, just park right over here. You can see that I know my cursor is not that accurate of a measurement, but if the parking lot is right here, it's not much further than parking right here at Mooney's Bay. And it's an easy little walk. They have a sidewalk that goes all the way along. It brings you right to the facility. So save yourself some hassle. Park over here at Canada Post, make your way over. So once you've parked, you have to again get your bib if you haven't already. You have to then get your timing chip, which is done right over here, and then get your body marking done. All that's done right here. So we'll have volunteers to help you out with all that, but the order of operation is show up and park, get to the venue and pick up your bib if you haven't done so already. You have to get your timing chip and get your body marking. Once that's all done, you make your way around the building and you enter the track from this side, the east side, and you set up your bike. So the last bullet point here that I always mention is late registration available. It's subject to availability. The last year or two, the event did sell out, so we didn't have any bibs available on race day. So I really recommend signing up ahead of time. We always send newsletters out every month or so, and we post on social media letting you know when certain races are about to hit their kind of sellout rate. So keep an eye on all those, or just sign up ahead of time. If there is space available, we'll have bibs available for sale, but there's nothing worse than making your way all the way to the venue to sign up just to find out it's sold out. So pay attention to the newsletters and the emails and the social media posts, and don't miss out on your chance to participate in the 2026 Canadian event. All right, so just to summarize, you've shown up to the event, you've gotten your bib, timing chip, body marking, you're all set up and you're warmed up, you're good to go. You make your way to Mooney's Bay. So it's about 500 meters from the T-zone down to the water, right over here. So make sure you budget enough time to walk your way down. And we have, 6 different races for this event. We do a half iron, an Olympic, a sprint, we do 2 tries, and then we do a splash and dash, for the kids. Now, all the races share some similarities. I like to say that for every race, there are 3 golden rules. And 2 of the rules are the same no matter which race you're doing. So, rule number 1, you're swimming clockwise. So the start here, this is the start and the finish. Every race starts and finishes right over here, but you're all gonna go in the water and swim clockwise. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, or golden rule number 2, it's not really a rule that's enforced, so to speak. Well, it is, but more of the kind of the golden rule. If you only remember 3 things, or one thing, remember this one thing, which is a 3-pronged kind of lesson. Golden rule number 1, you're swimming clockwise. Rule number 2, you're keeping all the buoys on your right, so you're going around all the buoys. And then rule number 3 is you're doing 1 or 2 laps, depending on which race you're doing. If you're doing a half iron or an Olympic, you're doing 2 loops. Everyone else, whether it's a sprint, try, youth try, or splash and dash, you're doing 1 loop. So swim clockwise, keep all the buoys on your right, and you're doing 1 or 2 loops. Those are kind of the 3 key points here. But if you look at the map, it's usually pretty self-explanatory. I'll use the, let's say the sprint, for example. Actually, let's go in order. So when you get there in the morning, there'll be 7 buoys in the water. You line up here on the beach in order of anticipated swim time. So the faster swimmers go at the front. If you're more of a cyclist or more of a runner, you might go a little bit further back. And we'll do a big 3, 2, 1, go. Now the nice thing is that your time doesn't actually start until you cross into the water. So unless you plan on being the first one out of the water and you're quite a strong swimmer and that's really your main sport, then there's no need on being the first one in the water. So give yourself the space that you need. Find a spot in that queue that makes sense to you, where you're surrounded by swimmers that are of similar ability. 3, 2, 1, go, and then enter the water once you're ready and you're kind of surrounded by people that are of your ability. So 3, 2, 1, go, you enter in the water, and then for the half iron, you go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You do that 1 loop, and then you do it again a second time. You stay in the water for that second loop. You don't have to come out of the water and come back in, but this whole section of the course right here is shallow enough to stand up in, so you're welcome to stand up if you like. Even when you're on the backside here, you're never more than 15 to 10 meters away from being able to swim to shore and stand up and then go back if you like. That's definitely allowed. So the half iron athletes, they do their 2 loops, then they exit from the same archway they started from, and then they go on to their bike. And then we do things a bit backwards here. At this event, we do the sprint event next. So in the sprint athletes, you all line up. And when you all line up, you're going to see 7 buoys in the water. And as that last athlete in the half iron distance curls around this buoy, we're going to take it out of the water. This buoy won't even be in the water. So when you then look out at the water at the start of your race, you'll then see 6 buoys in the water and you go around all 6. So we'll do again 3, 2, 1, go. The golden rules are you're going to swim clockwise, going around all the buoys that are in the water, and you exit. The Olympic, the buoys are set up the same way. You're just going to do your 2 laps like this, and you exit, and then we'll take these 2 buoys out, and there'll be just a few buoys remaining in the water. And your try athletes, you will do the same thing, going clockwise, going around all the buoys that are in the water. This is the question I think I get the most, is it's, call it 15 to 20 minutes before the start of your race, and they go, which buoys do I go around? Don't worry, we're going to take the ones that aren't for you out of the water. Just we can't take them out until the last person from the race before you goes around those buoys. So give them a few minutes to get around safely. We'll take them out of the water, but just go around all the buoys that are in the water. It should be pretty darn clear within about 10 minutes before your start time. But this map is pretty helpful. You can also come see the course in person the day before. So those are the details there. Now for cutoff times, as long as you finish your swim before the next swim starts, then you're good to go. We just don't want the swim after you kind of swallowing you up and passing over you. So take a look at all of our start times and make sure you have enough time to complete your distance. Smile for the camera. We'll have photography on site all day long. The photos are free to download afterwards. So when you see your photographer, either ignore them and give them a candid shot, or give them your pain face, your happy face, your game face, whatever it might be. Other miscellaneous things. For any race over 100 people, we do wave starts. So for all the races, we do that chip timing where it's 3, 2, 1, go, but your race doesn't start until you cross in the water. But if you're doing, let's say, the sprint triathlon, which usually has a couple hundred people, usually 400 to 500 people, we'll do a 3, 2, 1, go, and we'll let 100 people into the water. And they can go in at their own pace. There's no rush. And then once they're in the water, we'll stop everyone else on shore. We'll wait a minute or two, and then let the next wave go. You can imagine if we have 500 people doing one race, to send 500 into the water at once, even if we're telling you to kind of give yourself space and to find yourself a safe spot on the beach before going in, it still ends up being quite congested. So for any race over 100 people, we'll just do waves of 100 till everyone's in the water, but we'll have volunteers on hand on race day to help separate. Here's where wave 1 is, here's where wave 2 is, and you can decide which wave you want to go in. There's no hard and fast rule. You can put yourself in any wave that you feel comfortable in. And as far as water safety goes, we've got a big team of water safety people at the Canadian, usually about 20 people on the water, a mix of lifeguards and paddlers, and we have a boat operator as well. If you guys need any help during the swim, like I said, you can stand up for most of this section here. But if you're not on that section there, or if you need more help than that, you can float onto your back. It's kind of the universal signal for our lifeguards just to go over and check on you. But if you need even more help than that, you can hold on to a paddler, you can hold on to a kayak, you can hop in the boat if you like, and then jump back in when you're ready to do so. And if you're not ready to go back into the swim, you can just exit the water and go onto your bike and go onto your run. There's no need to force yourself through the swim if it's just not your day. You can still go and continue the swim and do the run if you don't complete the swim in its entirety. I'll just take note of your bib number when you do exit the water prematurely, so I just adjust the results so it doesn't look like you had the world's fastest time. You can imagine if you got 100 meters into the swim and decided, this isn't for me, and you turn around, well, that 100-meter swim is going to look pretty darn fast if you don't adjust the results. You might look like a world record holder all of a sudden. So we'll adjust the results so it's fair for everybody, but keep in mind that you don't have to force yourself through any part of this race. Similarly, if you're on the bike course and you're supposed to do 3 loops, and after 2 loops you decide that's more than I can handle, finish the race, let us know after, we'll adjust the results. We want you guys to have fun at this event as kind of the cornerstone of Somersault's mantra, so don't feel obligated to do anything that you're not ready for. So that is the swim in a nutshell. If you have any questions, let us know. It's usually where we have the most questions, so I tend to spend a lot more time on this slide. Now the bike course is pretty straightforward. I'll use my cursor again. You exit the water, you go get your bike in the T-zone, and you follow the cones. We'll have nice cones and our big archway that brings you out to the bike course where you'll do your cycling. You don't get on your bike until you get to the road. Again, we'll have volunteers there and giant flags, and we'll have chalk on the ground, and it'll be very, very obvious, but they'll say, get on your bike here. You hop on your bike, you head down to Hogsback, and when you get to Colonel By, which is right here, now your loops begin. You can see from the map that you're doing 9, 4, 2, or 1 loops depending on your distance. You make your way downtown, do your U-turn, and you come back, and that's 1 loop. So it's 10 kilometers per loop. So please make sure you count how many loops you're doing. If you're doing 9, it can be quite difficult to count. It's easy to lose track after 90 kilometers. So you can do a couple different things. I used to put little pieces of tape on my handlebar and I take them off, 1 tape every loop kind of thing. Or if you like candy like me, you might take 1 bite of candy for every loop that you do and only pack enough candies for the number of loops that you have to do. Something like that. There's all kinds of tricks that you can do. But do whatever you can to make sure that you do the correct number of loops. It's no fun doing more than you have to because the triathlon is long enough in most cases. And if you do it too short, your time might be artificially too fast, and we'll have to adjust it on the results to show that you did the distance that you did. But a couple of miscellaneous things. The U-turn is just before Clegg over here, a couple hundred meters before Clegg. You'll see a bunch of cones and a big a sign guiding you to turn around. We'll have motorcycles with lights on them on the course too, kind of patrolling. Cutoff times, the bike course is open until noon, so make sure you can finish your cycle before noon. And then right over here at Carlton U and Colonel By, we have a washroom available to anybody, so some porta potties there. And then for anyone doing the half iron distance, there's a bottle exchange. So you can take over, pull over and stop, hand a volunteer an empty water bottle, they'll hand you a full water bottle, and on you go. So we put those two things together, the water bottle station and the porta potty station, just so you have a kind of dedicated area where you can stop and relax or stretch out any kind of tight hamstrings and so on. This section of road has a nice little jet out, so there's a nice safe place to pull over and there's lots of room there. And then for swim cycle athletes, you'll do your last loop, you'll come on back, put your bike down, and you have to still run through the finish line. So once you drop your bike off, it's about 100 meters to go from there through the finish line. That way, when you finish your race, you're at the finish line where you can go get some water and sports drinks and snacks and food. You can get your finish line photo, which is fun. Our volunteers can grab the timing chip from your ankle and all that good stuff. So the last miscellaneous things, I'll talk about this turn point here. It's quite unique, where when you're coming down and you go to do your U-turn, it's a big teardrop shape. It's nice and wide. And when you're going around, there'll be a sign right here that says transition zone, straight ahead. Extra loop, turn left. So just make sure that you know how many laps you're doing and you do either the U-turn or you go straight through. In years past, we've always done a monitor there as well. So when you start that turn, when you start around here, you'll go over a small timing mat that will register that you've completed a loop. And by the time you get around to the U-turn, we'll have a TV. It's a modest size. It's usually around 30 to 40 inches, where it'll say your name, your bib number, and how many laps you've completed. So it might say, Adam Karakis, Olympic triathlon, 2 of 4 laps done, something like that. So that'll help you keep track of things, but depending on the weather conditions, if it's pouring, it's difficult to make those electronics work. If it's super sunny, the glare can be hard to see. So we'll have a lot of resources that are available to help you count the laps, but please make sure you have your own system and that we're there as a plan B. And nothing worse than you're doing the U-turn and you're going, 40 kilometers down the hill this way, and you're yelling back at the volunteer, what lap am I on? And they just can't see what your bib number is from that far away, and you're going so darn fast because you're a super speedy triathlete, and they're trying to yell the answer back at you and you're already gone. So save yourself that headache. It happens every year to at least one person. Don't let it be you. Find a little system that works for you for your laps, and then use the monitor as kind of a backup option. And then the run course, so I'll use my cursor again. You finish the bike, you come on back, you drop your bike off, you go and do your run. As you run along, you'll see a sign here that says athletes turn here, 2.5K loop. So if you're doing a 2.5K loop, which is our duathlon, our sprint duathlon second run, or our try run, you do a U-turn here. Everyone else, they keep going until you see a sign that says athletes turn here, 5K loop. That's you. You do a U-turn and you head back. If you're doing the half iron distance, you go even further. It says athletes turn here, half marathon, and then you do your U-turn. We'll have porta potties on the run course. There's some right over here. There's a couple actually in the first couple hundred meters. We have our own ones down over here, and we usually try and stick another one somewhere around here. We have 2 water stations, one right when you exit, maybe 300 meters into the run, and another one about 1 kilometer into the run, and you pass them on the way out and the way back. So for every loop that you do, you have 4 chances for water and sports drink. For anyone doing our iron event, we'll have some other stuff there. We usually have some exact energy bars. We usually bring bananas and things like that too to help you guys get through your long half iron distance triathlon. And then just the same reminders again, smile for the camera, photography is on site all day long. Know your loops. Every year we get about one person who just loses count of the loops, and we try and help you out with that, but make sure you know how many loops that you're doing. And I'll highlight it again. This is the loop that you do if you're doing a 2.5 kilometer loop. Every year one person is doing the 5K, and they come here and it says 2.5K loop, turn here. And all the blood is in your legs, it's not in your head, so you're not thinking clearly. And you might think to yourself, oh, turn here for 2.5K. Okay, this is the 2.5K mark. If I turn here and go back, that's 5K. Well, it's not quite the math. We try and make it clear by calling it a 2.5K loop. We put volunteers there as well and all that. But try and make sure you're aware of where your turn points are. Or if you're wearing a watch, it's pretty obvious to know that you're at a certain distance kind of thing. But turn here for the 2.5K loop, 5K loop, or half iron or half marathon loop there. And that's it. So after you've done all those things, either a swim bike run, a run bike run, a swim run, whatever, or swim bike, whatever it might have been, or if you're doing one of our relay events, you are now a 2026 Canadian finisher. So congratulations. At the finish line, we'll have pizza and snacks. The photos are all live at photos.somersault.ca. It takes us a few days to tag all the photos, so give us some time to get those all done. But the results are live instantly. As soon as you cross the finish line, usually within a few seconds, your results are live. you can head over to results.somersault.ca and see how you did. So that's the virtual orientation in a nutshell. If you have any questions, let me know. My email is adam@somersault.ca. I'm pretty quick to my inbox, so don't be shy to ask me anything. You can also come in person to the in-person orientation. We're very happy to see you there in person, getting your bib pickup done early, and also a chance for you to walk around the course. So that's it. I will see you all on race day, or even better, the day before for bib pickup. Thanks, and we'll see you all at the Canadian.